All right. Good morning, guys, and welcome to the session. And thanks for sticking around. Today I'm going to be talking all about technology and how to leverage technology and use it in your marketing practices as well as your business and future proofing yourself. So be mostly talking about social media, LinkedIn marketing, the state of current affairs in our healthcare system, and how we can use artificial intelligence tools to stay abreast and stay current. Quick disclaimer. Everything here is educational purposes only. I'm not telling you anything. It's just for value exchange. It's my personal views and opinions, and it's not advice. A lot of the AI tools that I'm going to be discussing in a year, they could be totally different. Everything's innovating and changing at such a rapid pace. So the talk is going to include or finish three parts. The first part is going to be understanding and navigating the current paradigm shift in the information age from the traditional industrial age and its effect on the current healthcare system, the current challenges that we're facing. And the second part is going to talk how we can leverage these new technology tools to market, brand, grow, scale our practices, future-proof our careers. We'll specifically be focusing on LinkedIn and how we can be harnessing the power of these new innovative AI tools and these video media technologies and stay abreast. And again, ultimately it's about the patient, but it's also be about being financially viable. So this talk is for everybody in here interested in leveraging cutting edge digital tools, innovative business models to stay ahead in an increasingly competitive, rapidly changing landscape. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, digital health solutions, and cutting edge AI technologies. And quick overview. I know a lot of you in here, but for those who don't, I'm Dr. Christopher Liu. I'm founder and CEO of Financial Freedom for Physicians. I'm a physician by training based out of Houston, Texas. Went to the traditional route, went to Baylor for medical school, was an MD, PhD, Rice Bioengineering, went into orthopedic surgery. And I started to see the unraveling and the challenges of the current healthcare system as a second year medical student in 2002. And so this really alarmed me. And I started to really focus on developing multiple streams of income, developing financial literacy, financial independence, financial awareness. I started investing in stocks very early on, allowing those to grow, and became financially independent at age of 29 years old. I then parlayed that financial independence early on in my career, investing in severely undervalued Houston, Texas medical center real estate following the 2008 financial crisis. And so from these strategic investments, I was able to retire early 8 years ago, 38 years old, 2016. And I saw this growing need for physicians to help them with career transitions, with business advice, with entrepreneurship, with starting companies. And that's what the mission of Financial Freedom is. We're here to empower all of you guys to take control of your financial well-being and awareness so that you can ultimately focus on the patients. So this has since parlayed into healthcare IT consulting. I've written 4 books, given keynotes across the country, various events and seminars. We got a robust social media following, around 30,000 followers. And what's very interesting is that the fastest growing segment of the brand this year and the past year have been in the podcast and YouTube space. And I believe that this is because of the growing, increasing interest in audio and video as a medium of consumption for advice, information, education. And so that's what I've doubled down on these past 2 years, specifically focusing on media, technology, and AI, and how to grow and scale those aspects. We've got a newsletter, blog, and check out our website here, and then shoot me an email. We'll get you plugged into the system. So that's me in a nutshell. These are the 4 books I've written, spoken at some of the major physician brand conferences, including the White Coat Investor, Passive Income MD, spoke here at the CMT today, last 3 years, as well as written for some of the major medical journals, Kevin MD, Docs MD, MedPage Today. So that's me in a nutshell. Let's get into the meat of the talk, which is understanding and navigating the shift. As mentioned before, I saw the healthcare crisis coming. I didn't know it would happen in 2020 in the form of a pandemic, but COVID really highlighted the importance of really understanding and recognizing these shifts and being able to adjust and adapt to them. So just the first wave of disruption came from the internet, search, mobile, social media, cloud. The next wave of disruption is going to come from AI following the COVID pandemic. So it's really important to understand this. This is why I'm here trying to bring awareness of all the different various tools. And so that you can understand and capitalize on this trend, use it in your media, use it in your practices, use it in marketing, use it in your social media for your educating your patients. As we all know, we're about 24 years into the industrial age or into the information age. And so we've really entered into a period of really rapidly dynamic, rapidly volatile, shifting landscape compared to the traditional ways of viewing employment and work that were prevalent in the industrial age. So March 2020, I really started to see this, and I started writing articles for Kevin MD, which got around 2,000 shares, hundreds of likes and shares. I started getting on social media, trying to emphasize the importance for physicians, highlighting the current challenges in healthcare, burnout, poor accessibility, poor affordability, poor quality of care. And looking at concierge medicine as a transformative solution for healthcare professionals seeking to offer personalized, targeted care while achieving financial viability. And really interesting is we live in the United States, the most powerful, wealthy country in the world at the moment. And our healthcare system that the state is in, it's a real travesty because traveling around the world, living abroad during the summer, other countries do healthcare much more efficiently, more cost effectively, and better outcomes. So we should be able to do the same. This brings me to the next phase of the talk. So that now we understand the current state of affairs and how it's impacting healthcare workers. Let's look at technological solutions to combat this. 2 years ago, I spoke here, this exact same room, about the importance of building a robust brand and leveraging this new form of attention as social currency and social capital to create a community, build a brand, build an audience, and build a viable business and a viable brand. And the power and the leverage that social media platforms carry that allow massive reach, massive scale instantly, many times for free with just a smartphone, this small device, and an internet connection. That's extremely powerful, independent of any centralized third parties. And what we really have is the ability to create our own media distribution channels. That's really, there are no more gatekeepers. Furthermore, specifically focusing on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is the number one platform for professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs. You want to go where all the audience is, where all the activity, where all the business deals are. This is the place to be. So you look at how many, almost 1 billion users. You've got millionaire CEOs, business leaders, entrepreneurs on the world's largest professional network, communicating, networking 24/7. The opportunities are incredible. So this brings us to the next crucial part of our discussion. How is AI and other video media technologies and innovation going to impact building a brand, building social media? And so in the mid 2000s, because of innovations in mobile, cloud, media consumption evolved from static text into real-time live interaction media, including short, long-form video, podcasts, and live stream. What's coming down the line is now we're going to have generative AI in the next year or so, along with social media and live streaming technology. We'll be able to scale and brand our message and create a whole new level of engagement that we're just beginning to see the tip of the iceberg. We've already seen that AI can already replace a lot of the blue collar types of work that are repetitive and routine. However, what's really startling is that over 78% of executives believe that AI is going to get so good that it can do higher order tasks such as creativity, decision-making, independent thinking. So that's something to really think about. What will happen to white-collar jobs in the future? I was having lunch with one of my colleagues the other day. He's a software entrepreneur, and he was talking about how he was trying to build and scale his business so that all of his business operates on software. So there's no employees or anything. So if you think about the recent labor strikes or any sort of employees quitting or not showing up or stealing, all of these things, AI and robotics can really solve these types of problems. However, it's really important to understand that AI is a tool, and it's how we choose to use it that's really will determine its impact. Another case in point, 2 years ago, I was paying on the orders of tens of thousands of dollars for editing, for assistance, all of these human type jobs. With the advent of ChatGPT and all of this new AI software, I was able to scale my cost down to less than $3,000 per year with a 4 to 5 times out. They get a greater than 70% reduction in cost and a magnitude order of output. So we always need to be constantly evolving, adapting, and staying ahead of the curve. And AI becomes more pervasive and integrated into our society. Extrapolate that example, think about the impact that AI will have in healthcare, which is a legacy industry. If that's the case, industries, jobs, all of these marketplaces will be disruptive, and a lot of businesses are going to struggle in the next 5 to 10 years if they don't understand and get a handle on this new technology. This technology is improving at such a rapid pace. As early as almost 2 years ago, OpenAI's ChatGPT was able to pass the USMLE or an MBA exams. So that's 2 years ago, and it's getting better and better every month. So think about what's going to happen to lawyers and accountants and doctors that are in radiology, pathology. It's really concerning. So let's look at what powers these technologies. At the core of what powers it are these large language models, which are basically, you can generate dynamic text from prompt inputs. It could be text, speech, or video. And just to give you an example, parts of this talk were made with AI, with ChatGPT. A lot of the titles, headlines, the descriptions, and these pictures here were made with DALL-E and Midjourney. Stunning images, just with now I no longer need to use editors. What's coming down the line is this next generation of video generation. So basically you can enter in a text input or a prompt and it can deliver a stunning video. So think about these industries, creative industries such as Hollywood, film, media, entertainment, education. All of these things are going to be Khan Academy. These are all coming down the line. And Google, Microsoft, all of these Amazon are all on board. They're developing their own large language models, trying to see who can compete with each other to have the platform that everybody's using the large language models on. Currently, it's OpenAI. It has the first mover advantage, but just like the web and in the browsers, we'll see who is actually the winner in the next couple of years. Moving into applications, we're standing at the precipice. What I really love is that Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, recently once said on a YouTube podcast recently, he said, AI is a general purpose infrastructure innovation, very akin to the internet. And it's going to have an impact across many industries as broad. It's going to have societal, cultural implications. So it's very akin to what happened to the internet, search, social media, mobile, and cloud. So looking at, in particular, healthcare, think about all of the applications that AI can be used in healthcare. Dictation software, all of the data that's being entered into the EHRs 24/7 across all the hospital systems. All this data can be used for personalized, targeted diagnosis and therapy. The applications are almost endless. What's going to happen to radiologists, pathologists, diagnosticians? We talked about social media, content creation, education creation, but look at all these industries, customer support, education. And what's really interesting is this area of autonomous systems where you combine AI software with robotics. So if you think about Elon and all of his robots, what's going to happen to military, defense, fire, police, where you can actually go in and save somebody from a burning building without the risk of an actual human life? Or what happens in all major cities when you have a Waymo or autonomous Tesla deployed? What's going to happen to bus drivers? Will we need cars? Will we need driver's license? Is it going to be safer? What's going to happen to Uber Lyft drivers? All these are existential questions that AI has a real impact on in the next few years. Tuning into AI use cases in healthcare, looking at some of the most compelling initial success cases within the world of AI and within healthcare. So you see all these top-notch institutions, Mayo, Sinai, Hopkins, doing all this fabulous work in cardiology, patient monitoring, radiology. So you can see that AI is starting to grab a foothold into this space. And think about if Amazon does to healthcare what it did to retail. So we talked about advancements, applications, AI use cases. Let's look at the actual tools and software that are powering these innovations. We're going to look at AI software with different capabilities. We'll look at ChatGPT. We'll look at Otter AI, eScript, and also live streaming. And because of time constraints, I want to just give a brief mention to the software. It's called Opus Clip. And this actually can improve and increase your social media and engagement by using a viral AI algorithm. So how it works is that, think about if you record this podcast or you record a webinar or give a talk or a lecture or anything, and you'll upload it into Opus Clip, and it's got a powerful AI algorithm where it can identify the points in the conversation that it thinks that the world will like. And so based on a score, it can generate around 20 videos and create what's called a virality score. And if you use those videos, they're most likely to go viral on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, all of these. And I've used it for my podcast, for my YouTube channel, and you can see just the number of views, the engagement, the followers have exploded. And so it's extremely powerful what these AI algorithms can do. These AI algorithms are also very prevalent in the social media feed. So it figures out what you are most likely to respond to emotionally, for example, Twitter or Instagram, and it will show you those feeds. So that's how these kind of algorithms work. And they're getting better and better at each and every month. So the first thing is, let's start by looking at the workhorse, the baby of AI, which is ChatGPT. And it's a multifaceted AI for extremely diverse applications. It's built on a advanced large language model. And what's interesting, it's got contextual understanding. It can fine tune the capabilities based on your industry, your field of work, and it can do it in different languages. So it's got global. So for example, I was living abroad over the summer, and there's a lot of things like I can't speak English or German or Italian, but if I can upload an image to ChatGPT in that language, and it can translate to me what those images mean. So the language barrier is decreasing. I've gotten a lot of questions around this idea because now the proliferation of AI software that can do different things, for example, Twitter's Grok, or for example, Perplexity or Delphi, all of these things are integrating ChatGPT into their existing infrastructure. So you'll see the proliferation of AI software with many very fine-tuned niche cases. For example, Perplexity AI is in healthcare. That's the ChatGPT model fine-tuned for the healthcare. And so the base case for ChatGPT, the original, is a multi-broad, it's a diverse. So you have to, in the settings, you have to create boundaries and so that it can tailor its responses to what you're actually looking for. The other thing is to note that ChatGPT isn't perfect. So sometimes the prompts that you enter are not always going to be what you expect, and it's not always going to be actually correct. So a lot of times you have to double check it. Sometimes you can upload chat transcripts, you can upload PowerPoints, and it can actually decipher what is going on, but it's not perfect. So it always needs human double checking. How can ChatGPT be used? So we can use it in content creation, which we talked about. We can do writing, we can do podcasts, YouTube, we can generate headlines, titles, it can assist in the creative direction. I can help in education and training. A lot of times I don't understand some complex topics, and I can learn it very quickly in 1 or 2 minutes just by asking ChatGPT, as opposed to going to a course and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and hours. And it can really fine tune and streamline the learning education process. On the other front, the non-creative front, it can also do a lot of automated tasks. So for example, it can do a lot of custom GPTs to do custom chatbot responses. It can act as a personal assistant. They can do a variety of different assistant and administrative roles. What is really interesting is that coding and programming. So my niece and nephew, they are using ChatGPT to code apps for various things for their school and just for their school projects. And a lot of the younger generation are using ChatGPT to spin up websites, new businesses, and start businesses in companies that are in the past would be really time consuming and hard to start. So you can see that the barriers to entry to starting these companies are just decreasing dramatically. And also it's decreasing the language barrier as I described earlier. The next tool that we're going to be talking about is Otter AI. And so this is really great if a lot of you are in business meetings or on Zoom, or if you give lectures, you give educational seminars, webinars, Otter AI is going to be really powerful. And what's really great is that it's an AI transcription service. It can be either record conversations in real time, or you can upload videos or audio files to it. The key application that I use with Otter AI are these searchable transcripts. So we talked about fine tuning and tailoring your content to your particular audience. For example, if I had a guest that we were talking about financial freedom or technology or marketing or healthcare, I could upload that conversation into Otter AI and it would generate the transcript, which I could then take the transcript, upload it into ChatGPT, and they could find the keywords as well as headlines and searchable phrases that resonate most with my particular audience. So this would be healthcare or professionals. It could then generate a title, headline, description, blog, YouTube description, which makes the whole engagement process that much more powerful. And I've actually seen fantastic results in the podcast and the YouTube, which has been, you combine the listenership plus these AI tools, it's been incredible, plus the social media algorithms. The next application I'm going to talk about is Descript. And it's basically revolutionizing content creation with AI. It's basically replaced my professional video and audio podcast editor. And I still have him for very specific things that require human judgment and higher order creativity, but it's replaced about 90% of the tasks that I used to assign to him. So it's a cloud-based, think of it as a audio and video AI-based editor. And so what I use Descript for, and there are tons of things that you can use it for, but what I use it for is the transcription, but it can also remove the filler words such as ahs and ums, and also remove awkward pauses, long silences, so that if you actually listen, I've actually listened to my earlier podcasts versus now, and they sound much more professional, and it's all been done with software compared to when I was doing it 2 years ago with an actual human editor. A lot of you are going to use Descript for if you're doing business presentations, if you're doing marketing, if you have a podcast. Again, as physicians in the concierge, I believe that everybody should have a podcast because it's the fastest growing segment of media consumption apart from YouTube. So think about that if you want to get in early. If, for example, I missed out early on Instagram and Twitter, so I had to make up by starting a podcast and YouTube channel and using these tools to leverage and get ahead. It's great if you're the really interesting one that I've been playing around recently, which I'll probably be talking about later, is these generative AI capabilities. So think about, for example, this area of misinformation, disinformation, deep fakes. And right now, it's really hard if the AI hasn't gotten so good that it's hard to decipher between deep fakes. But I believe in a year or two, it's going to be really extremely hard to decipher what is real, what's not real, especially with these social algorithms feeding you what you actually respond to. And just for example, I want to highlight with Descript, I was able to record a copy of my voice. It was able to clone my voice with AI. I then instructed Descript to create a audio segment of a 3 to 5 minute webinar around just investing in stocks, which I then combined with a JPEG image, and it was able to do a 3 to 5 minute presentation based on the AI. So you think about what's going to happen with this in the entertainment industry, what's going to happen with the educational content. Am I real? In the future, are we going to be meeting in a metaverse or with Facebook's lens? And all of these things are coming down the pipeline. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
In these scripts, are you able to actually record the podcast with the two, you and your guests? You use website or FM?
Yeah.
It does that as well.
Yeah. Great question. With Descript, they have its own recording room. But for example, I'm so used to using Zoom and StreamYard that I just basically record there and I just quickly upload it to Descript. But Descript has its own dedicated room as well. The thing that I found with Descript's recording room is that you cannot put a virtual background. So it takes your whatever is in the background. So sometimes in the earlier days, I had to record a podcast in my closet. But that's the thing is it doesn't have the virtual background. So it's still early to yeah. 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 It's beautiful with these virtual technologies because you could be anywhere. And like sometimes I've got what do you call it? The banners and I can put it behind me. It's just it makes it recording very versatile.
What software was it Descript that you can upload your face and your mannerisms and record virtually you saying your voice?
Yeah. Descript can clone my voice and it can actually create a script based on what I tell it. But then what I do is I use 11 Labs and then Sora as well. So you can check those out too. Yeah. 11 Labs in Sora. So check those out. Just a caveat. I think the technology is still very early. So, what I'm describing to you is because right now I looked at the cost of these subscriptions and they're still very expensive. So I anticipate in a year or two, they're going to be very affordable.
What you're talking about, sliding rules together for you.
Yeah.
These very everything lucky ideas for Marcus. These thought the AI tool of customer business, Concierge Medicine in marketing. It made a giant business topics for blog posts, and review those never goes live. And every day, one of our systems creates 1,000-word blog post products up. It emails it to me. I click the link, I review it, I approve it, click on the link. It then sends me 2 minutes later an AI generated image that works with the blog post that I can approve or deny. And once it's approved, it then takes the message, the blog post, and a picture and puts it on our website. And it's done. Okay. And so the next one doing is can we get out of the system out of the image about Steve one and make it look and sound.
Yeah.
So that
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be really, we should talk afterwards because I'm playing around with the same thing. I was actually playing around in the Oculus, kind of the metaverse and trying to give presentations there. Still early. I'm going to check out the lens that Facebook is coming out with. And so we should talk more. All right. Moving on. So we'll move on to the next tool, which is StreamYard. And basically you're able to take one key piece of content and stream it across different platforms. So think of it as a live streaming studio. So it's a live TV and radio broadcasting. The key feature of this is that it's got multi-platform streaming. So as we were describing earlier, you can take one single podcast episode, record it, upload it to StreamYard, and it can go across 5 different platforms or more. So I stream it through Facebook, my Facebook business, my Facebook community, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. You can also do it through Instagram, and they're coming out with features where you can stream it now to TikTok as well. Check that out.
You record and then publish it to StreamYard. I think the last slide, you can actually record it live and run.
It depends. Earlier on, I used to do it live streaming, but I found that sometimes because of time constraints, I'll just pre-record it and then I'll upload it and schedule it. A lot of times you'll see me on LinkedIn live streaming. That's a pre-recording. And that way you can
produce feel should be live streaming and make sure it's
yeah. And as we were talking about, StreamYard is really great for if you're doing webinars, workshops, if you're doing live event broadcasting. My goal is to be a 24/7 media channel, and you can also do a podcast interview, and it's been able to scale content. So that's StreamYard, and really check it out as well. So putting it all together, we've talked about the shifting paradigms between the industrial and the information age and how that's affected healthcare and the current challenges, how we can leverage technology to stay abreast, to stay competitive, as opposed to getting swept up by the tides. We talked about social media marketing, the power of that, as well as the power of LinkedIn and the power of building a brand. We then talked about how all of these tools, when you combine it with generative AI and all of this new software, can enhance your content, can enhance your automate your processes, streamline your efficiency, increase social media engagement, disseminate to multiple users. And for the benefits for all of us, you get enhanced patient engagement, you get increased marketing and visibility, and ultimately you have the thriving business and happy patients and enhanced efficiency and profits. So I love this. I want to end with this quote, and I really love this quote because it really summarizes my approach to everything. Because I love the book Only the Paranoid Survive by Andy Grove, and it really talks about how to disrupt yourself. And I'm always thinking about what is the next existential crisis that's going to put me out. It could be COVID, it could be any number of things, software, but at least 40% of all businesses will die in the next 10 years if they don't figure out how to change their entire company to accommodate new challenges. So we've seen this effect with Blockbuster, with Kmart. We saw what Amazon did to retail, what all these companies, Google, Meta, Facebook, Apple are doing, trying to upend and disrupt the system. So we need to stay abreast and continually innovate, adapt, and change. You guys are here at Concierge Medicine, thinking about new ways of marketing, building, scaling your practice. Yeah, and this is the audience that I love talking to. So I thank you for your time and attention. And if you want to get in touch with me, just email me at this, and I will just put subject line CMT 2024. I'll connect with you on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram, Twitter as well. Check out our YouTube, our podcast as well. And I'm really excited. And I thank you for your time and attention. And